Good morning. This is Dr. Bill White again with the American Orthodontic Society, and I'm going to talk a little bit about palatal separators. I really am sold on them. They've helped me so much over the years, and I hope that everybody watching this learns how to use them if you're not using them. To widen the palates out, how to restore the palate back to what it should have been. And it's much nicer if the child never has to have this. In other words, if you can prevent this from happening. But anyway, this case here, it did happen, and she has a narrow palate, and she can't breathe through the palate, and it messes up the face, and she doesn't swallow right when she doesn't breathe right, and so the face grows longer, and the palate gets narrower and narrower, and the airway gets reduced even more. So if you can go in and widen the palate out and widen the airway, it really helps. So we'll just watch this case. Actually, the young lady got married and left, and I never did get to finish it, but I had it over the hill. It looked pretty good when she left. Here she is. She's got way too much height in the lower third of the face. In other words, this deal here should be more like this, and it's way too far. And this really messes up the facial structure, and we corrected function, and just even before we got through with her correcting the function, and we did reduce it by taking her bicuspids out and everything, but this changed the way she looks. She got married and before we finished, and as far as I know, I guess they moved away somewhere. Well, looking at it from the front, it's definitely too much in the vertical height of the face down here on the bottom. Excuse me. And the teeth are crowded and messed up. These pictures are old. This was taken in 83. This is back when we started it, and she's about 23, I think, on this cephalometric picture. I think she's 23 years and 8 months, something like that. And so we had back when we did this, I don't know whether I had even started putting the spring between the centrals, but I was able to separate her palate even so. And here is the first Panorex we've got of her. There's no wisdom teeth, anything in there, and we went ahead and started this palatal separator. Now this is cephalometric. This is a Panorex that's number 7, but I don't have pictures of the others. And this is in 1988, after we pretty well we were finishing the case up. When you look at the models, I mean, you can see what has happened. I mean, we've got a crossbite on both sides of the mouth. We've got a crowded out cuspid, and we've got 2 laterals that are crowded out up on the inside, and the lower arch has got a excess curvus fee. These here way up in here. It's just a general mess that you'll have to do orthodontically. And you can really see the excess curvus fee and how it's shaped and the way her mouth functioned, where she had to breathe through the mouth, you see. excuse me. Okay, when we started in on the case, I went ahead and put separators in here, and we're separating and getting ready to put a palatal separator in, and I put just a little segmented wire with some spring on it right here to open up so we can get these two laterals to come up in this space. We're going to try to do that. We'll work on the front of the separator, see, to finish that out, and then as we get this going, we'll kind of widen this out, drop it down, and expand the lower anterior too. But this palatal separator really helped us a lot. Okay, I'm going to run through this pretty quick, and most of it's just regular orthodontics, but this palate is narrow, I tell you, and it's got these two laterals crowded out. Of course, you can't brush it here, and it's just messes up. Now we've got our separators in here and over here, so we'll put the bands on the teeth here, and we'll come in and get the impression of that and build a palatal separator to go in the mouth there. Okay, the lower arch is a lot wider. The tongue stays down here, and it widens this part out, and you develop these cross bites down in here simply from breathing, putting the tongue in the wrong place. There's no way you can breathe without going over the tongue, where you breathe through the mouth, and the tongue stays in the bottom, and it widens the lower teeth, and you develop cross bites, either unilateral or a bilateral cross bite. Most of the time they're all bilateral, and you kind of shift the jaw out to one side because the tongue pushes up. In most every case, it would be pushing the same over on one side as it does on the other. It would be the same pressure in there, so you get mostly bilateral stuff. We widened it out a little bit here, and I put a retainer in there. Really, I don't see much use for doing that, so I think you can just kind of forget that part of it. And here is the models when we started. They were measured from the cusp, the lingual cusp of the 6-year molars, and she's in her 23 or 8, I believe. She's almost 24 years old when we separate. So we've got about the separation in here is about it's nearly 3 centimeters, you see, wide right there, and we put the separator. We measure later on after we had done some separation, and we're nearly 4 deals. So apparently we put something in there and separated earlier, and then we'll come back now and put another one in. Maybe we use 2 separators. I guess that's what it was. We separated it first with one, and then took it out and put something to hold it, and built another one and fixed it up and put it in. Then we've got springs there for the lateral teeth to come in. Now here is the second separator, and it is pushed out about the maximum of its ability to widen this, and then this distance over here is a lot more than it was, you see. And now we're going to kind of widen this part out in here, and then bring these teeth into that space. So the separator, we must have used 2 separators in this. I just didn't get a picture of the first one. Now, once we've widened that out that much, we come back in and spread the lower out and straighten it up. Then we decided to, if we would come in and take the first bicuspids out to help lower the vertical dimension a little bit, plus the correct function over a period of time will help lower it. So let's go through the case now. We've got flexible wire on the anterior part that's attached to the separator, and we'll just be working with the front teeth up here, and this is attached back here, but it's not doing anything to the teeth that are in the separator. It may push on the whole thing. Let's see if we can get something up above. Alright, so this segmented wire, you see we've got an expansion loop in it right here and over on this side. So we're expanding this way, but we're going to round this all out, something like that, and bring these teeth into that gap. And then we'll be widening the lower arch also. The separators, the palatal separators, this is a help, something like that. Here the separator, I took it off and put it on the model where we had done the first separator, and you can see how much wider the separator is. We took the bicuspids off, and I cut the deal and left the molar bands back here with a little piece of that metal on the hammer. Now, okay, let me jump to, there's the lower arch. Now we've got it widened out and working with it, and the upper one is coming in. We're going to have to use some elastics, you see, so we got this tied on there, and we'll pull this midline. We try to get it on as close as we can, but you get these teeth interdigitated. That's the most important thing. Alright, just some more. We've got it, the bite is open. The tongue now can function and it can't go up in the palate yet till we get the palatal separator out of there. Okay, and it's coming along pretty good. We've taken the bicuspids out, and we're going to close the space up on that. And that, in addition to correct function, helps get the face to lower a little bit, but not very much. If you did surgery on this, you'd have a kind of a job closing it too, because it's got so much height in the lower part of the jaw down here. It's hard to trim out underneath here. Okay, this is 1987. And here it is finished, virtually finished. It's from this point she got married and moved away, or I don't have any records past this point. But now let me show you the way she looked when we started. You see the length of the face in here, and it's pulled down this way, and then go back and look at it's much better. And if this young lady wears the retainer and stays in there good, and whoever finishes this up, you know, and she stays with it and she breathes correctly and swallows correctly. See, each time you swallow, you bite two. With an adult proper swallow, you'll bite your teeth together when you swallow. And that pressure on the teeth helps restore this to a normal height. It's already better than it was. If you look at the way it is, let me erase that, and you see the height here, and the narrowness of this. Now if you look back at the facial structure here, You see that's widened out. So it looks better now. Anyway, the young lady got married, and we have some pictures of her here when she was, I think she was 28 years old. I don't know how it took that long to get there. It took a long time. But anyway, she looks so much better now. So I'm going to sign off, and I hope you pick up something from this video that you've got to get function normal to get this to stay. And it would have been so much nicer if she had started off as a child where she was breathing through the nose and developed that. So I'll say goodbye, and I'll end this. Thank you very much for watching. Let me see if I can get this.